Welcome back to another pen talk. Please ignore the squeaking in the background. Our dog has a new toy that has a lot of squeakies in it, so he's very happy. Today we're going to look at a pen, so don't be surprised. It comes in its generic white box. It's nice and secure. As we open it up and slide it out, we'll notice it's a nice wooden box inside. And it's burned in with the name ZenBoo. This pen is available on Amazon, and it was sent to me for review. I need an editorial comment here. I have difficulty reviewing pens that people send me because I really feel that I want to review a pen that I am interested in and want to buy, and a lot of times pens that are offered for review may not be on that list, but I think also that I need to do a service to my viewers and maybe review pens a little bit outside of the range that I normally would look at. So that's where this pen falls in line. David was very nice in answering a lot of my questions, and I explained to him that I'm only going to review a pen that I think is worth showing to my viewers and that writes well. So I went through that, and that's why we're seeing this review. I mean, this is a classic wooden box, very well made. Opens up. I put the plastic sleeve back on the pen because it doesn't rattle around with the plastic sleeve. But once you take the sleeve out and put it in there, it'll rattle around. So, but that makes a nice desk accessory. I've been out of the corporate world for a while, so I don't have a desk. And when I was in the corporate world for the latter stages, I didn't have a desk anymore either because they felt that hoteling was the best approach to take. So I'm a wood guy. I like wood. And this bamboo, I've always been impressed with the tight grain of bamboo and the hardness of the wood. So this certainly exemplifies that. And the pen probably looks familiar to many of you that have perused the sites looking for different pens from China. So it has your normal clip on it. The wood has the same nice feel that the box did. Yeah, it feels good in the hand from that perspective. The plating is nice. You got a generic clip, which is nice and tight. Yeah, a nice cap band here, which is also good because wood is not something that you want to stress in certain directions. It doesn't work good in tension. It works better in compression, if you're going with the grain, against the grain, etc., etc. So it's just a pull-off cap. And we have a fairly small plastic section here. So a pretty big step up to the barrel. So you can hold it there. It's not that bad. I mean, the pen fits in the hand well. It's plenty long enough. And the pen is light, will give you those weights. And the nib is interestingly labeled Genius, Iridium, Germany. We see that labeling in some format or another in that scroll work, and it's a two-tone with your silver on the outside and your gold color on the inside. So it's a nice looking nib. Who wouldn't want to be called a nib genius? And posting makes it fairly long, but the balance is fine. This is not a heavy pen. Wood's a relatively light material. So that's the pen. We'll show you the parts taken apart. We'll ink it up, and then we'll put nib to paper. Here's the bamboo pen disassembled. So I remove the converter. This ring here just screws into place at the back of the converter. You got your standard spring agitator. You got your single seal piston here. I'll lubricate everything with the silicone gel because there's no reason to not take advantage of this. I didn't pull the nib and feed out because I'm not ready to do that unless I feel there's some issues with the flow, but this looks like a standard nice number 5 nib with your plastic feed, so we should be fine with that. And this is the rest of the pen. You can see a screw at the bottom of the cap that holds the finial on. It holds the clip in place. Obviously you wouldn't want to eyedropper this because there's wood in there, but it's nice that you have your metal threads in there that work with the top of the section. One of the things that I noticed about this converter is this is just the same plastic all the way through. A lot of the converters have metal rings here that keep the stability there when you're pushing it on and off the section, and also some of them have a softer material at the end here. This one does not. But the rest of the parts are clear, which makes it nice, but inside the wooden pen you really don't see that. We're going to do a comparison of wooden pens, and I picked these two to compare to the ZenBoo one because they're both come from China, and they both represent a very similar design and a very different design. So let's start with a similar design. In this pen, I had in my other review, when I reviewed Do You Like Wood pen, that I said this pen I wouldn't review because I didn't feel it was worth reviewing. You can see there's a crack there in that finial at the top. This wood just doesn't feel good. It's nice tight grain, but it doesn't feel good. The plating is not as nice as the plating on the ZenBoo, so yeah, it's the same snap-off cap. It looks similar here, but this nib is not the same nib. It has a more traditional writing feel to it, so it's not as smooth. It's just overall, I don't feel this pen has the type of quality that I think is worthwhile as far as investing in a pen. Even if it may have cost less than ZenBoo, it's not worth the investment. This pen it's a design unto itself. Obviously not a traditional design, no clip or whatever. This has also been polished by me, and so it has a nice look to it. You know, again, you have that big step up here, but you have a more traditional section here in this pen, and this is a Delight nib. You know, this is your standard extra fine, which I didn't rave about. If I was going to buy this pen, I would use a bent nib or get a bent nib to put on it, but then that would increase the price. And this pen is comparable in price to the ZenBoo pen, but doesn't come in the same nice packaging. So one of the things that I think you need to take a look at is you can buy the ZenBoo on Amazon. You get it shipped to you pretty quickly. You get warranty. You get the protection of buying from an American distributor, even though the pen is made in China, and it is a good quality. So I'd have to say that I'm very happy and glad I had a chance to give it a shot. I don't really have a wood ink, so I haven't used this ink for a while. It's a brown number 4 from KWZ. It's nice saturated dark brown, as you can see from that little swatch there. So I've reassembled the converter, silicone greased the piston, the threads, you know, this little cap that screws back on here. So we're going to go all the way down, put it into the ink, pull it up. First fill is decent, but as I mentioned to you before, I'm going to do this 3 times. I've flushed this, I've cleaned it, you know, I flushed it with my ammonia and soap solution, but nothing is going to really saturate the feed like you want that done with ink. And also to rinse out any last little bit of thing that might be there. So there we are. They got a pretty decent full fill there. Yeah, our dog is really going nuts with his new toy. I mean, the first impression that I get, and I really do react to my first impressions of nib on paper, is this is smooth. It's wet. It feels good. Doesn't require any pressure to write. It glides across the paper. And it's very easy to lay down an extremely wet line. You know, and this KWZ brown is certainly a very saturated brown, a little bit on the red side if my eyes are interpreting that color correctly. So overall, I have to admit I like the pen. I like it better than I expected I would. So we're going to rate it a 7. Can't do more than a 7 because this is a narrow section, so it's like holding a pencil. Some people may or may not like that. I think the way the nib glides across the paper and the way that it feels, I think you could easily write for long periods of time with this pen. And it looks nice in the hand. You know, the gold plating, the black, and the bamboo make a good combination. So we're getting to the end of the video, so thank you for watching. May you have many extraordinarily great writing experiences exploring this wonderful world of pens that we find ourselves in. So until next time, bye.